Hello guys, I am CRSST teachers, Mr. Mandals. Today we are going to discuss about the civil disobedience movement. First the nationalisms, meanings. In second videos I have discussed the non-cooperation movements, effect of the First World Wars, and this series of the movement move ahead, and after the stopping of the non-cooperation movement in 1922, now the motions of the Indian national movement was slowed down, and in these times new leaders, that is new leaderships of those, it was not democratic. But on the other hand, the new leaders, the radical leaders like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, whose slogan was "Give me blood, I will give you independence." हमें खून दो, हम आपको आज़ादी देंगे. Then the new leaders, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who was not satisfied with the full independence, and in 1929, that is after the appearance of the Simon Commissions in 1928. Here it is important to discuss that the Simon Commissions was established by the Tory government in England in the 1927, and in 1928 this commission reached in the Bombay, and with the reachings of the commissions, all the Indian leaders, irrespective of the different political parties, different views, they unitedly moved against the Simon Commission, because there was no single Indian members. All the members are British, that is white, led by John Simon. That's why this commission is also popularly known as the White Commission, as all the members of these commissions are white people, that is English peoples. Now the question is, after the dissatisfactions of the report of the Simon Commissions, the radical leaders, they raised the slogans of the full independence or Purna Swaraj, and keeping this idea in head, our national leaders organized the Lahore sessions in 1929, and there, under the chairmanships of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, they decided that the day of 26 January from 1930 will be celebrated as Independence Day, and with these vows, with this pledge, they will continue the movement for independence ahead. And regarding this, the importance of the 26th January, I will take 2 minutes from you. You should know the importance of these days. Nowadays, we used to celebrate the 26th January as Republic Day, because on this date in 1950, that is on 26th January 1950, our constitution was started. And now the question is, why this day was selected for the startings of the new constitutions? Because out of 1 year, except 26th January, there are 364 days. But why not any other days? Why 26th January only? The cause is 26th January was celebrated as Independence Day from 1930 to 1946, and these 16 years are observed as a national festivals day, giving the respect to 26 January. So when in 1947 the independence was achieved constitutionally on 15 August, we celebrate the independence of 15th August. But now question is, what will happen to 26th January, which has been paid respect of the national festivals day? That's why the leaders of our country decided that our new constitutions will be started on 26 January, and this day will be celebrated as National Festivals Days, paying equal importance to the 15 August. That's why, dear guys, you should not be confused the why 26 January is calling here Independence Day. Now the point is, on 26 January 1930 in the midnight December, you can imagine how cold it was. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and others, his political leaders, hoist the three colors national flag on the bank of the river Ravi, and the response from the common people to celebrate these types of the Independence Day was not strong. That's why Gandhi called it abstract, as a abstract feelings of the independence, and he replaced is with the great civil disobedience movement. Before starting civil disobedience movement, Mahatma Gandhi invited then Viceroy Lord Irwin, and he also sent one memorandum. And demand was included in that letters, and all the demands were common interest, and some demands were basically for specific or particular groups of peoples, and salt tax, it was the most important, and which was consumed by the rich, by the Hindus, by the poor, that is all peoples equally consumed it, and this is a very important item of our kitchen or food. That's why Mahatma Gandhi, when became failures to to draw the attention of Viceroy Lord Irwin, then he gave the ultimatums that if the demand of the Indian National Congress is not fulfilled before 11th March, then the party, that is Indian National Congress, is going to adopt a severe steps into the name of civil disobedience movement. So Gandhi was failed to convince Irwin, and he had to start the Dandi March, which is world famous march or short march. It was started from Sabarmati Ashrams in Gujarat to a Gujarati coastal city, that is Dandi. Along with 78 volunteers, trusted volunteers, Gandhi started this, and the distance between these two, that is Sabarmati to Dandi, was 240 miles, and one day they covered 10 miles. That was to cover for 240 miles the volunteers to 24 days. After 24 days journey, and they reached Dandi on 6 April, and Mahatma Gandhi violated the salt law by producing salt, by making salt, boiling the sea waters, and during the motion procession from Sabarmati to Dandi, he stopped in different places where thousands of people comes to him to listen the meaning and the ideas of the Satyagraha or Swaraj. And Mahatma Gandhi successfully convinced all the people, including the women sections, that it is their basic duty to serve the nations, and the females sections also participate in the processions, and they are convinced that it is their basic duty to move hand in hand with the males for freedom struggles movement. Now the question is, how the civil disobedience movement was experienced by different group of peoples. Here I must take the names of the city areas peoples, then the rural areas people. In cities areas, that is town areas, civil disobedience movement was observed by refusing selling and purchasing of the British goods. The school, college, court and government officials are left by the respective groups of the people, and in village areas, in rural areas, we can find the Jat community of the Gujarat and Patidar community in Gujarat and the Jat community in the Uttar Pradesh. They were instructed to produce the commercial crops, that is for the interest of the British industry and British trade and business, and so they were hardly attacked and they could not pay the tax and revenues because of their productions was very insufficient. On the other hand, the factory workers, especially in Solapur areas and Sotanagpur areas, they used to wear the Gandhi cap, and when Gandhiji was arrested during the civil disobedience movement, they stopped their work, attacking the government office like post office, railway stations, telegraphs and any structures which was the symbol of the British government. Thus, we can also take the name of the industrialist like G.D. Birla, Thakur Das, Purushottam Das. They were very much enthusiastic to support the civil disobedience movement with the hope that the Indian trade and business industrial policy will be decided by the Indian people through the civil disobedience movement if the British government is drive away from Indian land. The oppressive government or the colonial government could not be able to interfere in the trade and business. And finally, we have to mention about the peasant, that is the four sections of the peoples and the different religious community, including the Muslims. The poor communities, that is working sections, demanded of their demand, but another important matter was the failures of the round table conference. In 1931, during the course of the civil disobedience movement, Gandhiji was offered by Lord Irwin to come to an agreement which is known as the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, and according to this pact, Gandhi stops the movement round table conference in London, but he had to return with empty hand. The British government did not consider any Indians' demands, and the people, common peoples, were severely beaten up and they were punished, and even the women and the children were also punished in the hand of the Britishers. So when the civil disobedience movement was started second time in 1932, the response was not so much enthusiastic. The poor sections were very much indifferent in this movement. Side by side, the Muslim community, when we have got the Muslims, Khilafat, the Muslims were so much interested and they were active in freedom struggle movement when the non-cooperation movement was started. That is in civil disobedience movement, the Muslim communities now were more interested in their religious processions, and there was a inner conflict between the Muslim religious organizations and the Hindu Mahasabha. So the Indian force, that is the force against the struggles movement of the colonial rules, were divided in this way. So finally it is mentioned that though the civil disobedience movement was not successful one, but its importance was great. It paved the way, make the ways of the futures movement like Quit India movement, and Indian people were organized under a single banner, under a single umbrella of Indian National Congress, and thus the Indian people were united, and ultimately they were successful in achieving the Indian independence. Hope you have got some clear ideas about the civil disobedience movement. Please subscribe my channel if you like it. Thank you very much. Have a good scholastic day ahead.